The IT guy told me I was using the software wrong. Wait until he finds out I coded it. He leaned over my shoulder so close I could smell his energy drink breath and said I was doing everything wrong. His name was Derek Hoffman, and he had this condescending way of clicking his tongue whenever he saw my screen. That's not how you use the interface at all. Did you even read the manual? He reached past me to grab my mouse without asking, his hand actually shoving mine aside as he took control. I pulled my hand back and watched him navigate through the software I'd spent 3 years building from scratch. The software that had been acquired by Nexus Tech for $87 million 6 months ago. The software where every single line of code came from my brain, my late nights, my failed relationships because I chose debugging over dinner dates. But Derek didn't know that. Nobody at this company knew that the new junior developer they'd hired was actually David Kaplan, though I went by my middle name here, just Kai. The acquisition contract had a non-compete clause that kept me out of the industry for a year, but it said nothing about getting a regular job at the company that bought my creation. So here I was, sitting in a gray cubicle, watching Derek explain my own software to me, like I was a child who'd never seen a computer before. Derek's fingers flew across my keyboard, typing commands that were technically correct, but inefficient as hell. See, you're trying to access the backend through the main dashboard, but that's not what it's designed for. The architecture doesn't support that kind of query. He was so confident, so absolutely certain that I was the idiot in this scenario. What he didn't know was that I'd specifically designed the architecture to support exactly that kind of query, because I'd anticipated users would need that flexibility. The main dashboard access was actually the fastest route to the backend, but Derek had apparently never read the actual documentation, just the simplified user guide that the marketing team had written. I bit my tongue and nodded along while he continued his lecture, explaining how real developers approached these problems. The urge to correct him was physical, like an itch I couldn't scratch, but I'd learned over the past 2 months that staying quiet revealed far more than speaking up ever could. Derek had been the senior IT administrator at Nexus for 5 years, and according to office gossip, he'd positioned himself as the resident expert on my software the moment the acquisition went through. He'd apparently spent one weekend reading through some of the public documentation and decided that made him qualified to train everyone else. My team lead, Patricia Lim, walked by and paused at my cubicle. "Derek, are you helping Kai with the integration issues?" She had this hopeful tone, like maybe Derek's involvement would actually solve something instead of making it worse. Derek straightened up, puffing his chest out slightly. "Yeah, I'm showing him the proper way to navigate the system. A lot of people make these same mistakes when they're new to enterprise software." He said, enterprise software, like he was saying, rocket science, with this weight that suggested mere mortals couldn't possibly understand. Patricia nodded and moved on, and I caught her shooting me a look that suggested she'd been on the receiving end of Derek's expertise before. After she left, Derek continued his tutorial, now pulling up his own screen to show me examples. "See, I've actually been working on optimizing the core functions. The original developer clearly didn't understand scalability." He pulled up a code file, and I felt my eye twitch. Those were my